here in beautiful Durango, Colorado at the finals for the Norva National Championship Series, and I'm sitting here with Eric Carter. And Eric, you, as I understand it, are leading the point series right now for both mountain cross and downhill.
Yeah, it's been a good season. A little bit of adversity as far as I broke my hand mid-season, so I had to ride through that, but it's been really good. We've got a new mechanic this year, and kind of missed my old one, but my new one's done an awesome job filling in, and the team's really gelled together, so it just makes it easy for me to go out there and do my job and score points and win races, and I've been having a good time, and the results are they're just coming.
So you kicked off this season rather well in Big Bear.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Big Bear was well, for me it was a weird deal. Big Bear was I expected to win the mountain cross. The way the season ended last year for me in mountain cross, with getting beat at Worlds when I really thought I was going to win, and Brian put a good move on me and just caught me off guard really. And then at World Cup Finals, I spun out of the gate after I'd qualified well, and then crashed at Norva Finals. So the three final races were a little bitter for me, and so I had all season to think about that. And I focused and trained, and we made some adjustments on my bike, shaved a little weight off, and just really thought the whole process through, and made some slight adjustments to my training. So mountain cross was good. I was focused, and I was out for vengeance, really. I mean, it was hard for me to not go home straight from those last races and start training straight away. So I had to be really patient, and it was good. I had a great start. Got out, moved over on Brian, shut him down so he couldn't come back like he did on me at Worlds, and he had to either hit the brakes or hit the hay bale, so I left the choice up to him. And ended up winning that, and that was good. And then downhill, I felt decent in the downhill. I ride good at Big Bear. It's my home mountain, and I know how to ride the dry pretty good. But I really, I didn't think that I had the speed to win the downhill there. I thought I was going to be like a third or a fourth, judging by doing downhill runs with my brothers-in-law and Steve Pete. I was a little bit off on the pace as far as the coasting sections because they were big. So I didn't expect to win the downhill. I knew I was riding well, but I wasn't coasting as fast as some of the bigger guys. And it was a course where you carried a lot of speed. My qualifier, when I got down, I saw my time and told my wife, I started kind of opening my eyes a little bit. I thought like, hey, I might have a shot at this. I didn't even stand up. I just literally coasted down the hill, and I was pretty right in there. So the downhill run, it was just a surreal, I don't know, it was weird, man. Everything was going in slow motion, and I could see every little rock and little blown out line, and it was blown out pretty bad. All the grooves, everything was just coming at me. I was processing everything so fast that it was like slow motion, and it was enabling me to ride smoother and flow better. And man, I got down to the bottom, and they announced my time, and I just put my head down on my bar because I knew it was a good time, and I got nervous. I've been in the hot seat a couple times. I got pipped right at the end, and I didn't want it to happen again. And I knew it was going to be close because Hannah went as fast as he could in the qualifier, and I was like 2 or 3 tenths off on a blown out course. So I knew it was coming down to the wire. And after Petey's run, and he was 0.15 off me, I thought, all right, I think I got a shot at this. I didn't think Hannah was going to run as fast as he did in the qualifier because when you do 2 all-out runs at altitude, it's pretty hard to be mistake-free on the second one. I think he spent a little bit on that first one. And Kovarik was a little bit of a threat, but I don't think he had his best run. I think he had a few mistakes, and it's easy to do at Big Bear. But it was the easiest run I've ever had, and it was my best result. So it's kind of an ironic little deal there. Everything flowed perfect. My braking, my shifting. I stood up. I did everything that I wanted to do. There was one turn that was blown out that I had to adjust for. Everything else, I couldn't have done it any better if I tried 100 times. So came off with a double. huge monkey off my back to win that first downhill of my career, 10 years, and I haven't won a downhill yet. So that was a big sigh of relief, and man, it was awesome. I was just stoked that my family, my wife was there to see it, and all the people that have supported me through my career were still there to enjoy it. So it was cool. But a little bittersweet. The next normal weekend, I broke my hand and kind of had to limp through on the downhill, and that's where we're at now, is trying to salvage points and stay in the points hunt. But Big Bear was awesome, man. It was a dream come true, and you know, it's a very rare thing to win both in one weekend, and I'm glad that I put my name up on that list. It's me, Hannah, and Brian Lopes I think are the only three guys that have done it. As far as on the men's side, Ann's done it more times than we can count, so that's a whole different deal. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed myself, and I had a great time racing, and man, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
What happened when you broke your hand?
I hesitated in it was West Virginia. It was my last practice run, which you should always, I don't know, it's like a weird deal. You never say it's my last run. I did, went down, and there was a groove up there was a hip turn, and it had a groove up the face, and there's a lot of loose rocks right before that section, and one had got drug into the actual rut. So as I was going off it, my front tire caught the edge of the rock, and it skated away from me, and it just kicked me over the bars. And as I went down, I knew I was going down, so I put my hands out, and I got my left hand out and kind of tried to roll with it and tuck my hand under, and my pinky stayed on the ground, and it just folded all the way back, and it got I don't know, I felt it go all the way, and when it did that, it fractured this bone in my hand. And so before I was even done crashing and tumbling, I reached up and pulled my finger as hard as I could, because I thought it was dislocated. So and that, I don't know if it lined up good or what, but when I went to the doctor, I raced the mountain cross and the downhill there, and then I went to the doctor in Vermont. He was really surprised that I had a boxer's break, and the little bone that was broke off was shattered, but everything was in place. He said he'd never seen anything like that, so everything was lined up perfect. But I just got caught. I mean, a rock was in the trail. We race mountain bikes. It's not road bikes, and I just didn't adjust. I didn't see it. I didn't look ahead, and it hit me, and that's part of it. So, what can you do?
So, you went ahead and raced.
Yeah.
With a broken hand.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. I knew it was hurt pretty bad, but I didn't want to go to the doctor. I didn't have time for the mountain cross. I just went straight up, gave my bike to my mechanic. We bent my levers back into place because they were both folded down, my brake levers. And then they started calling races. So I just jumped in the gate, and I iced it for like 5 minutes and took off. I got a great start, but like my third crank out, I snapped my chain. So my evening was done there, and I went home and iced it, and then took some leaves the next day for the downhill, and just hung on the best I could and rode the groove down, and I ended up 11th. So that was a big deal. I salvaged a lot of points there.
So 11th with a broken hand.
Yeah, 11th with a broken hand. I think I would have done a lot better. It's always if, right? I wouldn't have won. Kavarik and Manar were just unreal on that course. The times they posted were just out of this world. So, but I think I would have been close to Waddell and right in the third, fourth range. I was having fun at West Virginia, which was it was the first time since I'd raced downhill there that I'd actually kind of got a groove and felt good on the course, and I was feeling great. So I just went ahead and rode the course and just hung on through the hard bits, and I don't know. I guess it wasn't broke till I went to the doctor, so I'm gonna wait until after the weekend. So it was a good deal. I just wanted to. I didn't want to give away. There's no way I could sit out. If I could hang on and make it to the bottom, I couldn't just sit out, being in the points lead. So I went down and we got 11th, and we moved on and went to Vermont. So.
And in Vermont, how did you do in Vermont?
Vermont was tough. It was I won the mountain cross in Vermont, and that was good. I qualified well and qualified fastest. Had inside lane choice, and it was a flat first turn, so it worked to my advantage really good. I just rode from the inside all night and took command and rode my race, and everybody I just rode really good and made everybody dice behind me. So that was really good. I was happy with that. Downhill, I wasn't even going to race. I did a practice run, and I tried to. I went about halfway down, and I stopped because it hurt really bad because it was really fast at the time. And Mio Sumasa, the Trek, the girl that rides for Trek, she came rolling past me, and so I got in behind her and I tried to catch her and I couldn't. And I realized my hand was hurt a lot more than I thought it was. I thought I could do better than that, and I really tried. Like, I took my hands off of my brake levers so that I wouldn't drag my brake, being scared that my hand was broken. I couldn't lift up. So I just kept running into all the faces of all the rocks and just losing all my speed. And so I went about halfway down after that and just pulled off, and I just pulled the plug on it. And then Saturday night, we had a really big downpour, and the course got way slower. And that helped me out because it enabled me to be able to ride. It brought all the guys that were going fast back to me because I was still going to go the same speed. And I rolled down, I got 39 and salvaged like 78 points, something like that. I stayed like 6th or 5th in points. I would have been 14th after. So that was a huge. All these salvage points have been gigantic. There's no way I would have even been close to the national championship if I hadn't just got down and made it happen. So it's tough. Vermont was the hardest one. Vermont and Idaho. Idaho was a tough one too, but for different reasons. I didn't hurt. I just was out of downhill shape. So
tough coming off an injury, basically.
Yeah, that was the deal. Idaho was the roughest downhill course that I've ever raced, and I think if you asked around the pits, you'd get that same sentiment. I saw a quote from Cedric that he said he didn't know if he should brake, take his hands off and brake, or hold on, because he couldn't brake and hold on at the same time. It was too rough. And after not riding downhill for 4 weeks, Idaho completely, thoroughly, physically wore me out. I went home and got sick. And
wow.
like physically, I got like just fatigue sick. I couldn't do anything for like 5 days. Just hanging on and getting arm pump and the lactic acid on every run and still trying to make it happen, and it completely physically wore me out. And I never had that racing downhill. So I raced motocross for 2 years and I never felt that tired.
Wow.
So Idaho put the whoop on me for sure. But I ended up 19th at Idaho, which was a disappointment for me because I usually do good in dry, dusty stuff. And it just, I did the best I could, and 19th was as fast as I could go. If I would have tried to go 2 seconds faster, I would have absolutely crashed my brains out.
Would you say that the Idaho course was probably more difficult than even some of the World Cup courses you've raced?
Oh yeah, by far. Idaho, when I say it was the hardest, roughest, physically demanding course, it for sure. Like there hasn't been a course. World Cup's a whole different deal because only pros race World Cup courses. So the grooves that we make are really fast and flowing. You only get a little bit of braking bumps right going into the corners. Whereas when you race a Norba, you have amateurs and semi-pros and expert women and all different categories riding on our course. The braking bumps are in all these weird, unusual places where we're just flowing and it's like ba 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 ba, where we're just off the brakes completely, and all of a sudden you hit this whoop section. Well, Idaho being so dry and dusty, the whole place fell apart, and it was just braking bumps all the way down. So pa 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 pa, and it killed me. So yeah, it was for sure harder than any World Cup. So for different reasons, because it was rough. World Cups get hard to manage your speed because the grooves get so fast, and the guys that are winning World Cups are processing information so fast. It's incredible for me to get. I've gotten thirds. I think I might have gotten a second at a World Cup. I'm not sure. I don't know. But mostly I think I've gotten thirds. To be close to that top level at World Cup is to understand what guys like Nicholas and Steve Pete and Kavarik are doing. It's it's a whole nother level, man. And it's like only 2 positions, but it's like it's another level. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. So now you're here. You're in Durango,
Yep.
and you're hoping for a good finish to retain that point standing.
Sure. It's we had talked earlier about stuff, and I like it. I like the pressure of it. I've been racing bikes since I was 8. I'm 33 now, and I was going for my first title when I was 15. So, and I've been in title hunts pretty much my whole career. So it's a different deal, and I really like it. I like the pressure of knowing that you got to perform. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but the feeling is it's like a drug, because you can't get that anywhere. You can't create that kind of pressure on yourself in any other atmosphere. You're rolling into the gate, and it's time to go. You got to do what you got to do. You got to be your best, and you got to make it happen. And it's an awesome feeling, handling that pressure and making it happen and win. Some of my best races, the most fun, has been racing against Brian Lopes and for the dual slalom titles, and it's just us on our separate courses and just absolutely just ripping the course apart. So those have been some of the good times, and Brian's beat me sometimes, and I've beat him, where it's like we're going into the final run, and it's me against him, not him against some other guy, and I'm hoping the other guy beats him. It's like, that's it. This is it. It's me and you. It's 2 boxers, and that's what I love. I mean, hopefully this weekend we'll get Mikey and Chris Kavarik in the final, and all 3 of us will be in the final for the 4-cross, and best man wins, man. That's what we need. That's what our sport needs, and that's what you look for. I enjoy that. I don't know if everybody looks at it that way, but I like it that way. Downhill's a little different because I'm still getting up to speed, and I got a little bit of a points lead to work with. So I did some downhill runs with Steve Pete today, and he just by doing 2 runs with him, I probably cut 6 seconds off my time. So that was really good. It's good for me to ride behind him. When I started doing good in downhill when I was on GT, he was a big instrumental part of me stepping my downhill game up. He showed me quit riding. I always ride in my comfort zone when I do downhill runs, and his comfort zone's a little higher than mine. So when he does his comfort zone downhill runs, it's a butt pucker and downhill run for me. So I just get in and chase him and go as fast as I can, and that's what I did today, and it helped a lot. So, and it helped me to know that I can ride that pace and still be in control. So that's good. I'm looking to have a good solid run, get through. There's a couple technical sections that I'm a little cautious in. So if I can get through those things mistake free and use my fitness from training, I know that I train probably a little bit harder than some of the other guys, and try to regain some of that time that I lose by being a little cautious on some of the little pedal sections and acceleration sections. Then maybe we can come out of here with a top 5. That's what I'm hoping for. If I can get in the top 5, I think mathematically it's still a chance for Gary and Rich House, my 2 brother-in-laws. So it's still mathematically a chance for them to get me, but they would have to win the race. So judging by the way those guys were riding in practice we have our own little practice downhill. Last week before we came here, they were going awful fast. Kind of opened my eyes. They were really going fast in training. So it's possible for them, but they haven't done that yet. They haven't reached that level yet. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it under the pressure of the national championship being on the line, and then okay, now I got to go out and get a first or a second. So I don't know if they've been in that atmosphere enough times to handle that, but they're riding fast enough, judging by the way they were riding our downhill at home. So it could get interesting, and hopefully it does for our sport and Norba and TV, and it makes for a good story, and people like to watch a good story. So hopefully we can have some good stories that coming out of this weekend, as long as I'm on top. No, if I don't win the downhill title, I would love for one of those guys to get it. So I see how hard those guys have trained this year. They really stepped up their training, and they got a good program over there at the Intense Tire thing. Santa Cruz going on. They got all good equipment, and it's time for those guys to start stepping up and winning some races and championships. So if I don't get it and those guys do, we'll still have a good party in Temecula.
Excellent.
Yeah.